What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers recent reports have came out that the Lakers really want to lean into the defensive side of things, right? So any trade that they make, probably going to have that in mind, right? If they go get a center, probably going to try to get a defensive type of center. The idea of like a Zach or Brandon Ingram or anything like that, more likely than not, isn't going to happen. I still am a fan of going and getting that third consistent score, especially with Vando back, right? Can you pull something off? Maybe keep Vando in the process too, especially if he can be healthy. But nonetheless, right, chances are they're not going to make that big swing trade. They're probably just going to go and bring in, if they can, in a perfect world, a Miles Turner. They're still working hard on trying to acquire a Walker Kessler, maybe a Jakob Poeltl, right? Something like that. I could still maybe see, if all else fails, them go in and bringing in a Nikola Vucevic. But it seems like, if the reports are true, the Lakers really want to lean into the defensive side of things. And with that being the case, that means our primary offensive options are LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reaves. Those three guys are going to be responsible for handling a majority of the offensive workload. Now, look, I like Austin Reaves. I think he is a very good player. I am not personally sold on him as your third option. I'm just not. I think he is too inconsistent at times. I don't think that he is aggressive enough at times. He has those games where he is brilliant. He has those games where he is, he's a guy that, can go off and just give you 30 on any given night. Right? He is a very good player. Like, without a doubt, he's a very good player. But is he really the third player on a championship contender? It's possible, right? We've seen multiple teams have third options that aren't, you're kind of like, is that guy really the guy, right? And have been able to win championships. But Austin Reaves, specifically come playoff time. During the regular season, you can kind of get away with it. But come playoff time, he's going to have to be more aggressive, right? Last playoffs, he shot 28% from three-point range. He has to be better than that, right? He had his struggles at times in the playoffs, right? But you look at the previous year. He was, last season, he was a lot more passive, is my concern, right? And we can't have that, right? He didn't really start the intensity and really attacking till it was pretty much too late. They were down 3-1. And it's like, all right, well, here we go, right? So, to me, I'd like to see Austin Reaves from the jump, whoever we end up playing, be aggressive and stay in attack mode. I've talked about Lakers are at their best when Austin Reaves is in attack mode, when he's not settling. Obviously, if you're having a night where you're, 3 or 4 from 3, then yeah, keep shooting, right? But in the games where, and I've highlighted this before in other conversations, where, I'm like, I really love, even on a bad night, right? I've even highlighted it, where I'm like, yeah, he struggled to shoot, but he was great in being in attack mode. He was great being aggressive. Great example was that Celtics game, right? Like, that was one of the more impressive games in which Austin Reaves balanced, the playmaker and scoring. I know he's had other games where he had more points or more assists and stuff like that, but it was about, again, the balance, right? Austin Reaves at times will tend to go one way or the other. He'll either go full playmaker mode and we need him to still be aggressive, or he'll just go full offensive mode and forget about everyone else. But I thought that Boston game, he was really good at just hunting and getting to his spots, but then would see the lob, right? Boom, throw up the lob. He looked like a true playmaker. He looked like a guy that was aggressive and could score the basketball. He was getting to his spots at will, putting the pressure on the defense, and taking what the defense gave him. That's the key. I loved seeing that, right? But if these are going to be your main three, then fine, right? Jared Vanderbilt, I think, will help a ton. You could keep Jared Vanderbilt off the bench, and if you wanted to have Max Christie, so you can go Austin Reaves, Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Fine. Lakers get a center, then maybe it's something where they go, like Austin Reaves. And then if I were the Lakers, I would go Jared Vanderbilt. Like, say you got, Nikola Vucevic, right? I think Jared Vanderbilt has to be in that starting unit, right? Maybe not until he gets to 100%, right? Maybe you do a Dorian Finney-Smith, but I do think at some point Jared Vanderbilt's probably going to have to be in that starting unit, or whoever you start is probably going to have to be taken out pretty quickly for Jared Vanderbilt. So that way, because he just covers so much ground on the defensive side of things. But Jared Vanderbilt's going to help a ton with Dorian Finney-Smith, Max Christie, and the way he's played, particularly on both sides of the basketball, right? Like, in the defense, right? There is a path to get there. right? And I've talked about this, dating back months ago. I've said this several times, right? Like, if Austin Reaves is going to be our third option, you need to make sure that you put the complementary pieces around him and LeBron and AD in order to make that work, to where Austin Reaves can focus more on just being aggressive and being in attack mode, right? So, for example, if you have, say, Austin Reaves, Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis out there, well, now Austin Reaves doesn't have to defend the first or second best guy. You're going to put Vando on the best guy. You're going to put Dorian Finney-Smith on the second best guy, right? If the center's the third best guy, then Reaves could be defending the fourth, maybe fifth best guy, depending on certain nights. So now he's not going to have as much pressure on the defense side. He's not going to have to work as hard on the defense side. So he can focus more on being that offensive option, being that offensive threat, having that versatility, being that playmaker, scorer type thing. I think that there is, again, I think that there is a way. I think that there is a path to potentially still winning a championship while having the pieces that you have, right? Like, I still think that there is a path to where you can take the squad that you have, put the complementary pieces at all times around Jared Vanderbilt, and start pushing in the right direction to start taking over in the offensive and defensive balance, right? That makes sense. But I still think that it's going to likely come down to either a defensive center or a Nikola Vucevic, right? Like, chances are they're not going to get both, right? They're not going to be able to get a 3-and-D wing and a center. I think the Lakers will lean into a center primarily because what Anthony Davis said about how he wants a center, and just based on the recent news, I think they go with the defensive center. But I could see, if all else fails, you go and grab a Vucevic, you bring Vu in, he slots in. But like I said, if you're going to have a Vu, I really believe that, again, you want Jared Vanderbilt to be 100%. I just believe at some point Jared Vanderbilt has to be in that starting unit. Come playoff time, that might be the move you have to make, right? If it's like really great, right, like would say a Dorian Finney-Smith starting or whatever, then fine, maybe you leave it. But I just think you're going to need that better defensive balance. And now you have a Vucevic. But also you could argue Vu would be your third offensive option, right? Like, Vu is a guy that gets you 20-10 on a nightly basis, but also give you that interior presence, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, so on and so forth. So I think that, you'd have the better offensive versatility, right? I don't hate the idea of, I lean more towards, obviously if you can get Miles Turner, get Miles Turner. But I'm leaning more and more towards liking the idea of Nikola Vucevic, especially with the healthy Vando, right? Because you can put the defensive pieces out there alongside of Reaves, alongside of Vucevic to just have better balance. And I think that could go a real long way, right? I think that's something that could really make an impact for this Lakers team. But overall, again, right, you got your three main guys, right? Okay, fine, right? Beautiful. But you need to continue to try to find the right pieces. JJ is going to have to find the right lineups and rotations. And if they can do that, I do think that these three, come playoff time, can handle the workload. Obviously, LeBron and AD, they're going to raise another level. Austin Reaves is a guy that's not afraid of the moment, that can pick it up a notch. So if you take all those things into account, I do think that you could potentially get enough offense between these three, plus what everyone else is trickling in, to where maybe you can pull it out, right? We'll see. Time will tell, but just something to keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Do you think that Austin Reaves, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis can be enough on the offensive side to handle the workload? You think, no, you still got to go get that offensive piece? Now, again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it, whether you agree, disagree, somewhere in the middle. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.